So we're in vanilla. We're right at the very end of my presentation here. I feel like it was a fast one today. I think we started early, but so vanilla magically is used for love and sex, and you can use that white vanilla powder, and you can get even that white powder, I think, like like for cooking. I think they have that vanilla powder even available. So you can use it to dust your body. You can also mix it in a love incense and burn it daily so your mate will always think of you. Although I've heard recently, like, a mate is probably not a very nice way of saying things. I don't know why. But it looks upon people as I don't know. Maybe it's
Like
not.
a sexual object, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
I guess. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe that's all I want. That's fine.
Exactly. So here's another thing is that you can put a vanilla pod in sugar, and then when people eat that tasty vanilla sugar, they'll be more loving. It will impart the love into the sugar. So, and then also for like pleasure. And it's supposed to increase male virility and fertility as well. So other fun stuff, magical stuff. Okay, so magically also it's used for happiness and good fortune, confidence and hope, mental clarity and power. And then I also said the Mayans, I told you before, they mixed it with the copal for temple incense. So it's also could be a part of your temple incense. That would be a good one. It sounds like it smells delicious to me. Oh, and before we move on, I do want to show you this. Hold on. Just wait 1 second. So you can talk to them while I grab this, of course. I know. I have 2 of these vanillas, these homemade vanilla extracts. And you get
Oh.
one person, you can't even see it in here. Let's see. You can't see it. But one person made it without the vanilla in it. Okay? And so then when it's gone, right? So if you remove it. But then I had another friend who kindly, I have not opened it up, and I don't know if you can see it in there, but they kindly left a little vanilla bean in there. So that then when it's like a quarter of the way done, you can refill it with something, with brandy or whatever,
Yeah.
bourbon or whatever,
What's in there now?
I don't know. I didn't make it.
Huh.
I didn't make it. Those are
You don't even know what's in, like, you don't know, like, what the liquid is?
Yeah, it's probably bourbon or brandy.
Oh, it's like alcohol.
Yeah, it's alcohol. It's like
Okay.
it's just a tincture. That's what vanilla extract
Mm.
is. It's just a tincture. It's not the um essential oil. So when you're buying vanilla extract, that's all it is. It's a vanilla tincture.
Mm.
So medical properties. So the Mayans believed that they used the green pods for venomous snake bites and wounds. And for antidepressants and anti-anxiety, it can be used. I'm sure also this is probably what Queen Elizabeth was using it for hysteria.
Mm.
Right? Also for low fevers. I love the old rheumatism cure, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Always, every single time is rheumatism. So it's also considered to be an aromatic stimulant. So it's supposed to accelerate the brain. And there's a couple of these that is supposed to, just from smelling it, it's supposed to even prevent sleep and increase muscular energy just from being an aromatic stimulant. Stimulate sexual properties, again, just from smelling it. So that would be like aromatherapy and the properties, but I think aphrodisiac. It's considered an aphrodisiac as well. So we've got 2 of those going. This supposed to be good for digestion and nutrition, and it's supposed to comfort the soul. So this is where I have my sacral chakra information. I got it from the main 3 sources that I get my chakra information, and then for the Damiana, I got it in a lot of like the normal places. Except for this is I try to look for a what's it called? Like a scholarly resource if I can find it.
Mm,
So I found this one for Damiana, and then I found a couple of them for vanilla. So got some
nice.
interesting ones for vanilla too. So
Hmm.
that's it.
Very nice.
Okay.
Okay. So mine are always so like boring compared to yours. Mine are very like college lecture.
Art projects.
I know.
Kind of. I kind of just like it's
Uh,
always like an art project to me.
I also like
But yours
I
are so cute. I love yours. I always want
I
to
always
grab yours.
that's just like a template. I always like do the PowerPoint and then think I'll go back later to add the pictures and then I always forget about it. Okay. Pull it a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. So, Wild Yam is going to be the first one. I am going to spend a little more time on like medicinal than lore on this one because I think that it's kind of interesting. So, first,
I've got one to show you. I've got Wild Yam to show you too when you want.
nice, cool. Okay, so we have the Latin name Dioscorea, Scoria, Villosa is the American, and then Mexicana is the Mexican. Now, there are like 175 Dioscorea. Like there's 150 or 175 different types of wild yam. But the most common one are the American one and the Mexican one. And they're very similar in pretty much all their properties except one, which is really interesting. So the name is derived from ancient Greek physician and botanist Dioscorides, who named it. Some folk names is the Dioscorea, colic root, rheumatism root, wild yam ruzel, wild Mexican yam, rheumatism root, Chinese yam, shan yao, and fairy food. Oh, and devil's bones. That was supposed
Can
to be a
I just
comma.
be excited for a moment about the Wild Yam Wurzel? I can't
So
stand how happy I am about Wild Yam Wurzel.
what's really interesting is in Back to Eden, that's what it's listed as in Back to
Really?
Eden. Yeah, in the book.
Wild Yam Wurzel? That is
Yeah.
so great. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. That is
Oh, so
fabulous.
funny. Yeah. So the parts used is the dried rhizome. Now it needs to be dried. For some of them, it can be a bit poisonous if it's not completely dried. And so they said you take like one of the thinner parts and you try to bend it. And if it bends, it's not dried enough. You want it to break. So mostly used externally. You can absolutely use some of them internally. Just be mindful of which type you're using because some are poisonous. Now, the American and the Mexican one are both fine to use internally, but again, there's like 175 different ones. So just make sure that you're
Make sure your Wild
aware.
Yam Wurzel is the right
Yeah,
one.
make sure your wild yam
The
Wurzel
right
is
Yam
not
Wurzel.
poisonous. And then don't use during pregnancy. Not good for the
You
future.
don't have a poison Yam Wurzel on your
um, it's so weird.
So good.
So some medicinal, analgesic, anticoagulant, anti-inflammatory. Oh, I forgot to look this one up. Do you know this one? Anti-sclerotic?
Let's see. Let's
I
find
forgot
it
to look
right
that one up.
now. Let's find it. Anti-scler
Sclera, isn't that like eye
sclerotic.
stuff? Yeah. I thought.
Anti-sclerotic is What is this? That it acts against sclerosis? What is that?
Or maybe that's skin? I don't know.
Anti-sclerotic effect of transforming. What is this? What is. Okay, so relating to having sclerosis is hardened. So it anti-hardening, maybe.
Okay.
Anti-sclerotic maybe means an anti-hardening agent.
Hmm. Okay. I don't know what would be hardening. Like
Or
muscle cells?
let's see. No, like a bone. Like, okay, so how did you bone? They're not just supposed to sclerosis. Sclerosis. What's this?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like hardening, like osteo. It's like hardening of sclerosis. I think means like hardening of like things that shouldn't be hardened. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not good. It's like it's bad to have sclerosis. I'm looking at this and I don't think sclerosis is something that anybody wants.
No, I just don't know what the hardening would be, but maybe it's not specific. Maybe it's just like the act of hardening itself or
Let's
something.
see, what is sclerosis? Because it's okay. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Who knows? Whatever. Hardening of something. Um,
Yeah.
so then we have antispasmodic, colog, demulcent, depurative, which is like a purgative. I had to look that one up too. Diaphoretic, digestive, diuretic, relaxant, tonic, and vasodilator. Okay, so in Western medicine, it's used for nausea, UTIs, arthritis, cholera, which it was really commonly used in cholera, which is why it was called cholera root. Menstrual disorders, cramping, morning sickness, soothing nerves, relieving pain, relaxing muscles, poor circulation, neuralgia, infertility, which ties into our sacral, vaginal dryness also does, lowers blood cholesterol, and then lowers blood sugar. So that's like Western medicine. And then I also found some Eastern medicine. So heavy.
I've always used it or heard of it used in relation to women's health.
Yes, that's
Yes.
why I like picked it. I didn't know a lot about it, but I know that there's like a heavy association with like women's health, which is really interesting. We'll get into that. So then we have fertility. So again, with our sacral connection, longevity, diarrhea, fatigue, just kind of like a lot of stuff that we talked about, lack of appetite, cough. Um, it does say that in Eastern medicine, it's believed that it moistens and that it's neither hot nor cold. And so it's used for like wasting disorders and thirsting disorders. Treats spermatorrhea, which I think is low sperm count,
It
if I'm not
is.
mistaken.
I think so.
Yeah, so more like urination problems, nocturnal emissions, wetting the bed, which it was it not Damiana? Was it Damiana that was for?
Yeah, like it was a, let's see, hold on. It was like a bed wedding.
Mm,
Let's see, was it that, which one was it? Was it Vanilla or
I
Damiana?
can't remember. I think it was Damiana.
I know. Let's see. I can't remember either. I'll
Mm.
find out.
Then we have like vaginal discharge. It softens skin, calms anxiety, and then helps build blood. And then we have in TCM, so traditional Chinese medicine. Um, it's associated with kidney and spleen energetic systems.
Uh-huh.
Now, the kidney system is associated with congenital health and fertility, and the spleen system is associated with acquired health, like health that you get through like food and your digestive system. And so, wild yam is considered like a foundational tonic
Mhm.
because it's good for both of them. Now, it's rare for one herb to strengthen the congenital and the acquired ki or chi, however you want to say that. So it's rare to have an herb that works on the spleen and the kidney system at the same time.
Mhm.
So it is like a really common herb used in TCM if you're having both of those problems at the same time. So it's used raw to tonify yin and dry fried to tonify the spleen.
And I did look that up, and it
Mm,
is Damiana that is for bedwetting, and it's used in the Caribbean for bedwetting.
nice.
It's like
Very
a
nice.
remedy in the Caribbean.
Interesting. Okay, so some interesting stuff here. In the 18th and the 19th century, herbalists used the Mexican wild yam root to treat menstrual cramps and like childbirth problems, as well as like upset stomach and coughs. Then we have in the 50s, scientists discovered that the roots, obviously, right, like the rhizome of Mexican wild yam. Now, keep in mind that we're talking about the specifically Mexican wild yam, not any others.
Okay.
So they found that the Mexican wild yam contains this like diosgenin, which is a phytoestrogen, which is a plant-based estrogen. So it's an estrogen that you find in plants. And it can be chemically converted into progesterone, which is one of the two like big uh, hormones for women. We have estrogen and progesterone. Now, so this Diosgenin was used to make the first birth control pills in the 1960s. And they got this from like the wild yam root.
Well,
Now,
there's a
the
whole thing. We need to talk about this because
mm,
there's like a whole thing going on in my like group about estrogen replacement therapy and I'm like, I have something going here, wild yam going here, because I'm like, um, I'm considering that like I would rather do it this way with like a wild,
well,
yes.
wait
Uh-huh.
until the
Okay.
next slide.
Okay.
So the body cannot change
Oh,
Diosgenin into progesterone. It has to be done in a lab.
okay.
So when you get wild yam root like cream, which is a common thing, it can have progesterone, but you can't do it naturally. It has to be done in a lab because there's like a lot of synthesis that has to happen. So
Uh-huh.
you can, but you can't like make your own wild yam cream and then get the benefits of the progesterone from that.
But could you get the estrogen?
No, because it's phytoestrogen. It's completely different. So, yeah, so let me finish
Ah,
this slide real quick. So, it has plant estrogen, which is completely different from human estrogen. And so that's why when people like, I don't drink dairy, I don't consume dairy, right? And so when
uh-huh.
people find out that I eat a lot of soy, they're like, oh, you're going to have higher levels of estrogen. No, that's
Yeah.
bullshit because it's plant estrogen, which is different from human estrogen. So you can use the wild yam root for a lot of other things, but it is not going to at all. There's been a tons of studies done on
Okay.
this, and it does not convert it at all to either estrogen or progesterone.
Okay, good
Again,
to know.
yeah, so you can buy wild yam root that has it added, but it just has to be synthesized in the lab.
Interesting.
So,
Wow.
what were you, so are you thinking of just doing it as like adding estrogen or progesterone?
Well, yeah, well, I think there's other probably phytoestrogens that I could use if I wanted to. And I also have Damiana going there. I just want to, I don't know, like, I don't even know that I have symptomology. I just have like, yeah, I don't even know that I have symptomology that would be necessary for like that I would need to take it for. I don't know. I certainly don't want to instigate any periods or anything.
No, I don't think that you would. And I mean, you know me, I am all for whatever is going to like make you happier, make you feel like it's going to be better. I'm all for it. But
Beautiful
I
that is.
mean, oh wow, yeah, really nice.
Isn't that
The,
lovely?
it is really pretty.
Wild lamp. That's the
Um, but I mean, estrogen and progesterone start dropping when we're around like in our late 30s, early 40s, which is why so we get this spike of like of hormones, which is why women's sexual peak is in their late 30s, early 40s. Men have it in their late teens, early 20s. But we have it in our 30s and 40s. And so we have like this spike of sex hormones at that age, and then it just starts dropping. So, I
Oh,
mean,
so I know the other reason is that I was thinking is because I went through like I don't know if there's something to be had by for your calcium, because the
mm,
problem is when like I had an ablation, so I was like I chemically went through menopause earlier, and so the problem with that happening is that I have calcium. I'm going to like struggle with calcium because my calcium levels dropped, but I don't know if phytoestrogen like helps with. I've got to look that up. I got to like
mm,
read all those people that like there's a whole like Viva Rom, and there's like and like even that like Wild Woman book, like Susan Weed, and they like there's a lot of them that talk about women's hormones as they
mm,
age, and so I just need to get on the ball, start looking at those.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
obviously
I mean, like,
not wild. Yeah, I didn't
yeah, not
have
wild,
a
yeah.
lot of thoughts, and I
And like,
was disabused of that.
phytoestrogen itself like can't be turned into estrogen. I mean, it's going to have other benefits. So maybe there's some like correlation there between like calcium absorption,
So
but
that would be because of
phytoestrogen
the
doesn't.
estrogen. That would be because it would be converting to like something that would be like into hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah, but phytoestrogen won't do that. Phytoestrogen doesn't do shit for the human body. It's like it doesn't see it as estrogen at all.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Whole bunch of
Uh,
carbs is what that is.
uh, okay, another thing to note is that the North American wild yam is, again, not the same as the Mexican species. And so they have a lot of similarities in them, but this like phytoestrogen compound is not in the American species. It's only found in the like Mexican species. So if you're getting wild yam root like cream or something, and it's actually gone through that synthesis of being able, like having the progesterone, it's going to have to be the Mexican wild yam because
Yeah,
the American wild yam doesn't have
does
that.
not do that. Yeah.
But a lot of books, and I actually came across this in my reading and my research as well, a lot of places don't specify, which is annoying because it's different. And it doesn't say, like, oh, some species have it and some don't. It just talks about, oh, wild yam root has this. And it's like, not all of them. Okay, so early Americans used wild yam to treat colic, which is why it's called colic root. And it's also been used to treat inflammation, muscle spasms, and then a bunch of other disorders, which we talked about earlier, including asthma. And there's been a lot of studies actually that show that it is pretty powerful in its antifungal properties.
Ooh,
So it can
well,
help
that's what it'll
fight.
be used as. Yeah,
There we
maybe.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it can help fight like fungal infections and yeast
Nice.
infections and things like that. There's also been some research that shows that taking the wild yam, again, the edible one, right, can help lower cholesterol. There's some mixed findings on this, but some research shows this pretty clearly, and others says, oh, we need more info. But the diosgenin seems to block our body from absorbing cholesterol. Now, most of the studies done are in animal studies. And so this is where we're getting mixed findings when we're doing it in studies of people. So we're not totally sure, but we do see that in this people studies, fats in the blood, the triglycerides, have decreased. And then indigenous tribes used it. Oh, we got 10 minutes. Used it. Oh, I always do that. I always hit the wrong button. There we go. Use it internally and externally for ye old rheumatism cure. And
Why? If there was one plant that didn't say that, I would be
I
so
know,
amazed. It's just such an
seriously.
easy out. I can't stand
Oh man. And traditionally used for like liver and gallbladder problems. Again, making sure it's the edible version though. Okay, so magical, we have health and healing, used to charm someone, and it's believed because it's like has those phytoestrogens, which are associated with like even magically associated with like femininity and things. So like using to charm someone, love drawing, lust, passion, and then obviously fertility because it helps with like the womb problems, womb area, birth, things like that. Now I didn't find a lot of correspondences for this, so I just, I didn't find an element association. I just feel like Earth would be a rightful element association. Planetary association, I did find in Beirel for Venus, but I didn't find anything astrologically or any goddesses. Um,
Let me pull out my
Wait,
and see.
that's not true. There was a goddess. Kali is actually associated with this.
Really
Yes.
interesting. Hold on one second. Let me see if I have anything.
Okay.
Any of these interesting things in my little box of tricks. My little
Yeah, where do you know where you get all your correspondence information from?
yeah, like everywhere. Like I just pull it out like wherever I can find it. I
Oh,
search.
okay. I don't
Yeah.
know if you had like a book that had. I
Uh
even
Briggs is pretty good.
hmm,
You're right. I don't have very much.
yeah.
So let's see. Earth and then Venus. Oh, or fire Jupiter.
Hmm,
So somehow I got like either it's Earth and Venus or fire and Jupiter. Like I see have both of that.
okay.
And then interesting.
Yeah, there's not really much. Even like magically, I didn't find a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, and then I got that it's a dark moon herb.
Okay. Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So that is wild yam. I don't
Nice.
think you even know my second plant yet, do you?
No, I'm excited.
Hibiscus.
Ooh, I love hibiscus. Yay. Oh my.
Okay.
I love
So
I love the picture. Put it back. I gotta see
I
it
know
again.
it's
Where
really
did you
pretty,
get
huh?
that picture? I know.
I had to go, so I just like Google search images, but I had to go to like page 6 or 7 to find a good one. I
Gotcha.
was searching.
That's
But it's a good one.
it is. It's cute.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. So Latin name is Hibiscus sinensis.
Sinensis? Yeah.
Sinensis. Lots of folk names. So Bisap in West Africa, Guli Khatmi in Urdu and Persian, Flor de Jamaica in Mexico and Central America, Orul in India, Roselle, Jamaican sorrel, Guinea sorrel, Indian sorrel, Queensland jelly plant, Thai hibiscus, and oh, I have that one on there twice, but Flor de Jamaica. It's also known as just like roselle and sorrel, which I talked about before, but those two words come from the words for sour, which because hibiscus does have a bit of a tart taste. And then the parts used flowers, which includes like seeds. I also found some leaves and stems, although I don't think I've ever used the leaves and stems, but it says that you
Is
can.
sorrel its own plant?
I think it is, which is why I think it's called Indian sorrel and like Guinea sorrel, not just sorrel.
Yeah, like there is sorrel. Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
It's a rumex. Sorrel is rumex acetosa.
Hmm.
There
Is
you
it a
go.
flower?
It's a herb. It's a perennial herbaceous plant. Other
Hmm.
names for sorrel include spinach dock and narrow leaf dock, which kind of a dock implies it's like bitter, but if
Hmm.
you said it was sour, like
Yeah.
No, yellow dock is like, what is, let's see. Oh, a tart sour green apple. It is. Sorrel is the closest taste to mature sorrel leaves, is one you wouldn't expect. A tart sour green apple. Sorrel is a very tangy acidic herb. Its sour taste comes from oxalic acid, which gives rhubarb its tartness.
Oh, I love rhubarb.
Sorrel. That sounds fun. I've got to
Interesting.
seek out some sorrel. Wow. And you can see though why it would be likened to hibiscus though.
Yeah. Yeah. Because hibiscus is definitely a bit sour.
I've got a little thing about hibiscus too. So
Hmm.
when I went down to Tijuana, me and my ex-husband Adam had a trip down to Tijuana, and I go through in and outs with the vegetarian. My body does much better when I'm not eating meat. But I we got street tacos, and we got these vegetarian tacos in this place, and it was probably the best tacos I've ever had in my life, and they were the
Mm,
strangest. And one was fried hibiscus, deep fried hibiscus with cotija cheese on it.
mm,
And then the other one was like a summer squash with some other type of cheese, but they were so good.
nice.
It was so unusual.
Mm, that sounds good though.
It was delicious, and it
Sounds
was
really good.
savory, which was weird. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Probably like the sour tied with the fried.
oh, so good. Delicious.
Um, we only have like 2 minutes left.
Okay, so you
Just
want
so you
to,
know.
so yeah, so you want to stop and come and
Yeah, let's
let's
stop
stop
and come
now,
back.
and then we'll come back. Okay,
Okay,
and then
bye.
okay. Bye bye.